Good evening, voters. Tonight, it is time to ring the alarm bells, to force and wake up our governments, our authorities, to hold emergency meetings, and for citizens to participate in collective efforts to tackle the big water crisis that our country is facing. Our governments and we, the citizens, need to realize the gravity of the problem right now. For instance, here are some numbers for you. As of May 30th, 2019, 43.4% of India was reeling under drought. This is as per the drought early warning system, which measures the situation in a real-time basis. In fact, such a widespread drought was also seen in 2015, 2016, and 2018 as well. So imagine what it would have done to our water reserves, our groundwater, making the matters worse for us. Water levels, viewers, in India's 91 major reservoirs have plummeted to 20% of their capacity. Just 20% is left. 80% of districts in Karnataka are facing a drought as we speak tonight. 80%. 72% of districts in Maharashtra are reeling from a drought. And of course, the two states are fighting for river water. Tamil Nadu is facing at and looking at the possibility of a big drought. And remember, for Tamil Nadu, the wait gets longer because for them, the real monsoons only hit later this year around September, October. Apart from this, while predictions aren't always correct, but weather agencies are right now not very hopeful of a good monsoon. In fact, SkyMet has said yesterday that the pre-monsoon showers show that it has been the second driest year in the past 65 years. Tonight, we will focus on Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. But here on Mirror Now, we will continue to bring you stories and raise this issue repeatedly until the collective conscience of this country wakes up to realize just how grave the situation is. But first up, here is a report.
In Tamil Nadu, the satellite images of lakes and reservoirs paint a grim picture. Chennai requires an estimated 830 million litres of water daily, but the estimated deficit of water supply has crossed 350 million litres. Pundi Lake, one of the lifeline lakes that provides water to Chennai, currently holds less than 1% of its capacity.
We are inside the Pundi Lake and you could see right now the situation. It's just scorched earth. The earth is completely scorched by sun, and there is like behind us you could see actually those there's not that much water. Imagine this is a kind of lake that's supposed to carry a hold almost 2,723 metric tons of water, like million cubic liters of water. But right now, situation is completely dried. It's like, it doesn't look resemble any kind of lake at all. This is like a just barren land, and behind us, there is a reservoir shutter. And in that place, you could see that the water level is lower the shutter. There is no possible way they can take any water from this place. And this is one of the major resource for water when it comes to Chennai, along with Chembrambakam. And this is a condition of Pundi.
The situation is tough in Maharashtra as well. In Jalna, villagers are forced to dig the ground deeper to hunt for water as dams have gone dry.
This entire area where right now I'm standing is called Jui Dam. You can see this is a dam area, but there is no water at all. But what these people have done, these people have excavated more in this dam, and now they have found little bit of water over here. This water lasts only for 2 days because you can see there is a tanker and they fill this tanker. This entire tanker get filled by this water, and after 2 days only the water again comes. So certainly you can imagine that how difficult it is for the resident of Bhokardan, because this particular dam usually provides water to 47 villages in Bhokardan district, including Bhokardan city.
सर वैसे बारिश तो हो ही नहीं रही है 2-3 साल से, लेकिन जो बारिश हुई पिछले साल जो बारिश हुई उसमें हमारा पानी का जो प्रश्न था वो हल हो गया था, लेकिन कुछ गवर्नमेंट की जो पॉलिसीज है वो भी कुछ सही ढंग से हो नहीं पा रही है।
In Karnataka, things are so dire that the government has resorted to praying to the rain gods, asking the state-run temples to hold special pujas.
We hardly have any water, and most of our neighbors and tenants, they haven't even cooked, neither had their bath also. It's really difficult for us. And the water that they're supplying, it is not sufficient.
बहुत पब्लिक है, आधा सारे लोग को पानी मिलता, सारे लोग को इधर हैं, सारे लोग को पानी नहीं मिलता। थोड़ा वेट करना पड़ता, रात के 2 बजे तक वेट करना पड़ता पानी के लिए। एक घर पानी पकड़ना होता, रात के 2 बजे भी हो जाता, 3 बजे भी हो जाता।
जो ये पूजा हम करने जा रहे हैं वो पर्जन्य जपा करके, तो ये वरुण देव जी को हम प्रार्थना करने के लिए, क्योंकि पिछले 4 साल से अच्छी तरह बारिश नहीं हुआ और ये अंडरग्राउंड वाटर टेबल भी बहुत नीचे चला गया। सो पीने का पानी का बहुत तकलीफ़ है, जानवरों को भी तकलीफ़ है और ये हमारा किसानों को भी बहुत तकलीफ़ है। तालाब में पानी नहीं, रिवर में पानी नहीं, सो इसलिए मैं तो खुद मुजराई मिनिस्टर हूँ, इसलिए हम ये पर्जन्य जपा करके प्रार्थना शुरू करने जा रहे हैं।
The situation of acute water shortage is similar in parts of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan as well. As per reports, around 2 lakh Indians die every year because they have no access to clean water. So tonight we ask, is India facing its worst ever water crisis? If the monsoons are not good, what is our contingency plan? Let's debate.
Let's go across to our panelists and say good evening to Kovai Satyan, spokesperson for AIADMK, Jayaram Venkateshan, convener of Arapur Ayakam, Rajendra Singh, a water expert, joining us again this evening, and Prashant Gautam, Citizen Voice, joining us from Chennai. In fact, Prashant, I want to come to you first. Now, we've been speaking to people from, various towns and cities in Tamil Nadu, even in Chennai, while some say they've not yet faced an acute water shortage. We saw today protests in North Chennai where people came out on the streets. What is the situation and how are you guys tackling it?
Yeah, I'm a resident of Perungudi, and what used to happen was we used to get water almost every day for 2 hours. So what has happened is for the past 2.5 months, what used to come for 3 days has become 2 days now, and that too is very irregular. So today morning, as of today morning, my sump, the water sump in our house was bone dry. There was absolutely no water. And more than a week back, I had already booked a Metro Water tanker, and that tanker, today morning, I got an update that only 23rd May bookings were the tankers were being sent for 23rd May bookings. So mine was on 31st May. So just look at the gap of a Metro Water tanker coming to our house. So we just don't have any access to water at this point of time. It's become a very difficult time. And in a week's time, the schools are going to open. Then what? That's the biggest question that is staring at our minds right now.
Has this situation then led to a lot of people resorting to, private water tankers? Is there now a big concern about water mafia as well?
That's right. That's right. So that's what I'm suspecting. I mean, why is there such a big gap between the time that the booking is happening and, when it's being delivered? So that is a big question that is in our minds as to, whether the corporation the Metro Water registered lorries are actually delivering the water to the residents, or are the private tankers coming and taking a part in it? Okay. So this is something which we need answers for.
Prashant, just
some
to
of
put
the slums that are near a house.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, some of the slums that are near a house are getting only once per 5 days. 5 days, 6 days. So that's one of our one of the things that I got to know from my maid, servant maid.
Yes, I'm sure they're the ones to be hit first when it comes to cutting water supply. How different is it from last year? Because the government seems to be in denial of the problem. They keep telling us they have ample water available. As a citizen, if you can, compare it to what it was last year.
Yeah, last year we did not have such a bad, issue. The problem was 2015 we had a very good flood, and the water was stagnant, and the groundwater recharge was there. But what happened later on is 2016 we did not have a good rainfall, and 2017 2016, 2017, 2018, all these years were not very good rainfall years.
Right.
So this year we are actually facing the brunt because 2018 we had a very bad rainfall, in fact. Very bad monsoon.
So let me get Kovai Satyan to then respond to this. Kovai Satyan, we've had some ministers in the last couple of weeks turn around and tell us there is no problem, we have ample water, nothing to be concerned about. Then why are the citizens struggling? Today there was a protest in Chennai. People came out on roads holding empty vessels.
Yeah, thanks for taking up this topic and putting forth saying that it is a collective responsibility initially. And to answer a couple of few questions, what it has been said, I know the minister has given a reaction a couple of days back saying that we are handling the situation on a war footing basis, and wherever there is a crisis which is being extrapolated to a larger extent, it is not there. So it was reference to one particular area called Pallavaram and Porchulur in Chennai, wherein he came back and gave a data of what investment has gone in and what measures have been taken. But let's look at the overall scenario. Yes, we are facing a water crisis, severe water crisis. To give you a short data on that, the last year the reservoirs in Chennai had about 2,848 MLD as of today. I'm talking about YOY. Today we have about 781, which means that we have less than 6% of water stored in and around the reservoirs. Besides the desilting efforts taken by the government, which is called the Kudimaramattu Panigal in Tamil, wherein we have desilted thousands of lakes, even a dam were desilted after 8 years of time. Now the government has taken this on a war footing basis, and 118 MLD of seawater to potable water tender is floated and the work in process have started. The Veeranam project, which our opposition claimed is in work to swindle money, is now has become the savior of this Chennai. 300 wells were being identified in and across Chennai where waters can be taken out, wherein there are quarries which has been identified which are giving us from anywhere from 30 MLDs to 95 MLDs per day. So the government has drawn out a plan of delivering 500 million liters of water to Chennai by the end of June. Not only that, wherever there is private land and wells, the government has gone on to a rental mode to take water from there. 171 new borewells are being laid. So the government has not taken this issue
Can I just come in here?
They are working on a both short-term as well as long-term basis.
Yes, so these are short-term ones, and if you say the government is doing all of that, it's very interesting.
No,
but do you realize what is very common? That everything
If
that
you
you're
would
telling me is about dipping into the existing groundwater, which is already dropping by, by the minute. Now, I will come to you for long-term in just a bit, but because you mentioned this massive desilting project that the government has undertaken, let me go across to Mr. Jayaram Venkatesan, because we were having this conversation just last week, Jayaram, and you had some different, information to share with us on the desilting, apparent desilting work.
That's right. On one side, Kovai Satyan has been telling us, the kind of desilting that the government is undertaking. But very clearly, the four major reservoirs from which our Chennai gets water, which is Chembrambakam, Pundi, you just showed it on the screen how it's dry and so on. These four major reservoirs from which Chennai gets water has not been desilted even once in the last 7 years. And this is the data that we got in RTI. Not only that, they also said that these four major reservoirs have 2 TMCFT of water, of silt. So 2 TMCFT of silt means that it is equivalent to 2 months of water for Chennai. Chennai's water requirement is 1 TMCFT per month. So therefore, these 2 TMCFT of silt, which has not been desilted, what has happened? So point is, all these planning has to be done beforehand. But today what we are seeing is that this desilting has not been done. Number 2, let me come to the point that Mr. Kovai Satyan, not only Kovai Satyan, the minister has said in interviews, continuously has been saying that they are supplying 525 million liters of water per day to Chennai today. This is a big lie. If they are supplying 525 million liters of water every day, that amounts to, for total of 75 lakh people, that amounts to 70 liters per person per day. Let me get back to the facts. Let me talk and then you can respond, Mr. Satyan. So that means 70 liters of water per person per day.
I welcome your allegation, but prove it.
For a family of 4, that's equivalent to 280 liters of water. Now 280 liters of water means the pots, people today in North Chennai, they came out with these plastic pots and all that. That can hold 15 to 20 liters. So what they are talking about is the 280 liters of water per day means each family gets 15 to 20 pots per day. But we have been traveling throughout Chennai. Kannagi Nagar gets water once in 5 days. Every family gets 10 to 15 pots. Places within the city, like the Greens Road slums and other places that we inquire, they get on every alternate day, every family gets only 6 pots, which means on the average, every day, every family gets only 3 pots of water. Whereas the minister is saying that they are supplying 15 to 20 pots of water every day. See the big gap.
Yes.
I'm sure that this government is not able to supply more than 200 to 300 million liters of water, but there is absolutely no accountability. Where are these numbers coming from? These are not really true. On the ground, people do not have water.
So let's look at the situation here. Like you pointed out, 4 reservoirs.
Mr. Kovai Satyan and the minister.
Yes, 4 reservoirs. No desilting work has happened in the past 7 years. Mr. Kovai Satyan, what are you talking about? This is a response gotten by an RTI response from your own government. So when did you suddenly do this desilting work?
Did I say that? One second. Let me give you a clear picture. This desilting work of Pudimaramattu is happening for the last 2 years of time. What Mr. Jayaraman is pointing about the Pundi reservoirs, Cholavaram reservoirs and other 2 which has not been desilted. Now the question is, does he get the larger picture of the close to about 93 crore of desilting and canal construction work that has been carried out in Krishna, which is getting linked to this reservoir, and it is going to be taken care of on a face-to-face basis. Now when you give a picture, give the macro picture why the government has not done it for the time being, or the government doesn't have the intention to do it. My question to him is, has our government said that we don't have any intention to do it? And the Krishna Canal, Kondur Canal, which is now executed at the cost of 94 crore rupees, which is a dream project of our SY leader Amma, wherein we have laid 17 kilometers of pipes and canals, which is getting linked to this Pundi reservoirs. Now the phase is on. Now it is going to come to this Pundi reservoir where the desilting work will start very soon. You give a macro picture, don't go by point.
Let me go across to Mr. Rajendra Singh.
You should not be done.
But I don't understand what is the connection between a Krishna Canal project being made and a reservoir in one part of Tamil Nadu versus what you should be doing for the reservoirs of Chennai. Why can't all of it happen simultaneously? Why can't all of this happen simultaneously? What is it that the Chennai authorities have to do regarding what is happening in another part of the state?
Why can't things go simultaneously?
Why can't you begin by at least holding elections for the municipalities in your state where there have not been any elections and there is no functional civic body?
Don't Tanvi, don't jump your questions. Let me answer you. Do you know where Viranam is located? How many kilometers far away it has been located?
I am asking you, why are these 4 reservoirs which are crucial to Chennai not being worked on?
If you want things to happen simultaneously, you have to come. One sec. If you want to happen things simultaneously, you should understand our plan of action. I welcome you to our department. Please come and spend a day or 2, then understand, and let's have a discussion on the same.
I would be glad to do that. The problem with your government is that they refuse to talk half the time.
Please do. You are most welcome.
Tanvi,
Look at the
Tanvi,
visuals on this on the roads of Chennai, Kovai. Look at the visuals that we have got. Our reporter has travelled to now 4 of these reservoirs. Look at that state of those reservoirs. It's not just Pundi Lake that he went to today. This is what he's been covering for the last 1.5 months. My point is, why haven't you focused on this?
I too mentioned about the 4 reservoirs in Chennai. No, you don't understand the point. There is a 16-page detailed explanation given. Now go through all the facts and merits, then let's have a discussion.
What is the explanation?
If you want to go by a reporter's photograph and don't want to go by the plan of action of the government, let's go by a reporter's photograph.
1 week before the monsoon last year, isn't it true that 1 week before the monsoon last year, your PWD department finally woke up and said, oh, we forgot to do this, let's do some desilting work now. 1 week. 1 week before the monsoon hit last year. Isn't it true? I have a copy of that letter. I'm sure you do as well.
No. We are discussing about a crisis management here.
Correct.
I am giving a picture of the short-term efforts taken by the government and the long-term efforts taken by the government. Long-term, you said you'll give me an opportunity to speak. Now, we are welcoming suggestion. We are welcoming any productive effort that can go into this as a collective. That's why I appreciated you in the beginning.
All right.
Thanks for calling it as a collective effort.
Yes, it is a collective effort, and I don't want this. I want this to be a constructive conversation.
Let's understand the plan of action of the government.
So, firstly, the first focus was to highlight what your ministers have been refusing to accept, that we have enough water. Look at the visuals. Look at what people are saying. I have a citizen sitting here who is saying we don't have enough water. I mean, if we are being told that 10 to 15 pots of water is being given to a citizen in urban India to survive and sustain for the next 5 days, it is a serious issue. Now, let's get constructive in our conversation. I'm going to go across to Mr. Rajendra Singh. Mr. Rajendra Singh.
I appreciate that.
You are the expert here. Tell Kovai Satyan what his government needs to be doing right now.
I think what they're discussing about the Pondi Lake and Cham Lake, I feel the water come in my eyes because a lot of rains, yes, now is the drought, 3-4 years, but they have enough water of the rains. But you know, the all water body encroached, polluted and overexploited. So if we know how much water we have, so we can manage equally and we can think how much water we have in our ponds and our lake. So if they make a system before this crisis coming, so today they can't think like this what they discussed today. But yes, now the situation is very, very bad. But I can say 3-4 things. If the Tamil Nadu government decides the all water body in the state, they identify the land of the water bodies and demarcate and really notify the land on the map. So the encroachment they can stop, because the encroachment going on today still, and the pollution is also coming on these water bodies. So now is the need how much we have the rainwater, so we can make the encroachment, pollution and over extraction free. So the first thing they can do, this is little long term, but this is also short term. After the rain season, they can understand impact of this activity if they can do. And the second, you know, the very good aquifers in Tamil Nadu and very good on the very lot of tanks and lakes there, if they can make a recharge, if they not all water body they can't desilt, so they can understand what is the way we can capture this water, and scientifically they make a map and where desilt is first, second, where we can desilting in second term and where we desilt in third term. If scientifically we can demarcate and we can decide this work immediately we can do, and when the rains come and the water full with this water body. So this water work is not just today you start and tomorrow you can get water. The water need a really respect of water and the respect of the rains and respect of the water bodies. So now no respect of the civil society and no respect in the government. The both side, this bad things is going on.
Yes.
But if really government understand, now the last 5 years continuously I visit the Tamil Nadu. The Tamil Nadu is really facing lot of problem of the scarcity of water. So if this government is really serious, so they can make a phase-wise plan and they can really fight. They have the enough water. I am discussing in only 200 mm rainfall, and the Tamil Nadu minimum rainfall is the 600 mm rainfall. So they have enough water, and the population density is not very less of my state or my area.
Yes, absolutely.
The equal population density
you
is
know,
there.
Mr. Singh, you raised an important point, and I hope the Tamil Nadu government takes note. Kovai, here is the waterman of India, who's done wonders for the state of Rajasthan, and I think governments of a day would do well with their long-term policy planning to bring in experts and have a policy to begin with, so that we don't have to go year after year having the same conversation about what should be done now. Now, I want to just also move from Tamil Nadu for a bit to what's happening in the other parts. And before we go to Karnataka, there is one very interesting visual that's coming from Maharashtra. Now, from Maharashtra, we've been covering the drought extensively for the last 1.5 months now and more. It's a very, very dire situation. In Aurangabad, there was a road work that was being done. And so you see there is this water tanker in Aurangabad that's actually dripping water as it drives along for that road construction. It's part of the process. But there are women there who are queuing up, and after a certain time, more women come who are walking and chasing this truck, trying to collect that dripping water in their plastic drums. Look at their desperation. Absolutely no water available. You know, last year we had conversations about sending trains of water to Latur. This year we are being told the situation is not that grim. But look at this. I don't know which government will turn around and tell us the situation is not grim if people are having to chase these trucks. And there are channels who've done follow-ups on this story where people have turned around and said we don't get water tankers here for 10 days, 15 days at a stretch. No water tankers for 15 days at a stretch. What are they expected to do? Yes, let me just, I wanted to highlight this situation, and I just want to go across to our citizen who's joining us from Bengaluru. And Sandeep and I have had a conversation earlier as well. Sandeep, we are speaking about collective responsibility. There is a lot that the citizens also need to do. What's the water situation right now in Bengaluru?
Yes. See, Bangalore is going through a phase where tankers are auctioning water. It's come to a state where auctions are going on. So, if you look at Bangalore, and not only Bangalore, see, when you listen to what Rajendra Singh was saying, it is a loss of water wisdom. When he says we are not respecting water, I would tend to agree with him, and that comes from lack of awareness. See, over a generation, maybe a few generations, maybe it's a consequence of policies of governments, not just Indian governments, the British colonial governments, which disconnected communities from its water sources. And this is where we lost our wisdom. And today we have a situation where all of South Asia is going through one of its worst heat waves. Okay. It is not even being discussed on mainstream television or newspapers. This is the pathetic situation where we are, that we actually are not connected to anything happening around us anymore. We become consumers. And this is where our big loss is. The wisdom is lost because citizens don't have the wisdom anymore. The governments don't have the wisdom, because whatever citizens ask for, the governments respond to that. When a citizen says, I want water today, the government tries to get a water tanker from somewhere. It is not looking at the entire ecosystem. See, water is just one part of the entire ecosystem. If we do not have a policy for sustainability, we will not correct this. We will just come to this every year when we face shortages. What we should do is go back to the wisdom of our ancestors who built water abundance. Bangalore was a dry plateau. A few thousand years back, the people who lived here built lakes and planted forests. That is what created the abundance in Bangalore. It became a green place from a desert. And what it created was 1,800 lakes. We became a city of lakes from 0 lakes. Every single lake in Bangalore was artificial. And what have we, the educated post-British citizenry, done, and government as a result? We have destroyed 1,400, 1,600 of those lakes to construct buildings and create a city which is just a concrete monstrosity. The loss is the water wisdom. If we do not understand that earlier water resilience existed in the locals, it was always local water resilience. It was not imported water. Today we think about importing water from hundreds of kilometers away.
Right.
This is where the government policy is flawed. We should go back to a more sustainable policy. If we can change our policy, an informed policy for water would be to restore local water resilience.
Well,
make sure that we incentivize, if every single ward or village rebuilds its own water resilience, incentivize it.
Yes.
If they are asking for water from outside, penalize them. This will set everything right. It is only a simple policy.
I know you said about government's policy on this issue. I can very clearly tell you, at least for the Karnataka government, the policy is dual point. There are only two things they look at. First, they fight with their neighboring states of Goa, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu over river water. And secondly, if the rivers turn dry, they look towards the gods. Then they instruct their temples to start, organizing pujas, saying that, oh, what can we do if there is no rain? If there is bad monsoon, there is only so much we can do. That's exactly what your state water minister has said.
Correct.
You know, if the water minister says, I have nothing else that I can offer except prayers to the rain gods, then obviously they're not working on any policy.
See, I totally agree with you. Today, if you ask the ministers what they're doing, they say we're going and doing pujas. Now, pujas are not going to help us. God has given us enough brains, enough consciousness. If we are not willing to notice what is happening under our noses, then we only have ourselves to blame. See, the policy of the government has only been engineering based. They always look at building pipelines. They look at building reservoirs. Both of these are flawed. It has been accepted worldwide that building reservoirs is a flawed policy. Then we are destroying our forests. About 30 to 40% of Coorg's forests have been destroyed in the last decade. Now, and we wonder why the Kaveri went dry for the first time in its life. Last year was the first time it dried. Why?
Yes.
Because our forests are going. If we fail to see this connection between nature and about us sustaining nature and the woes we are facing, then I think we are doomed to die. We are a civilization that it's reached its end. We are going to die only because of our stupidity, nothing else.
So let's talk about what the citizens can really do here. And Mr. Rajendra Singh, I'm going to come to you on that, and then Jairam. As citizens, what can we do? For example, there is, in most cities, there is an expectation that each society and building should have its own rainwater harvesting, but it barely gets implemented.
Correct. See, that is, in
Sandeep,
Bangalore especially,
just hold on for a bit.
Of laws is
I want to take that question across to just Mr. Rajendra Singh first.
Sorry, I thought it was to me. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Oh, sorry.
Tanvi, the role of the civil society is very important for water, because who need the water, who drink the water, so they motivate for the conservation and the disciplined use of water. So the two types immediate need, one is the conservation they can start, and second is disciplined use of water. Today, nobody bother about the water literacy in the state. So every state needed how much rains and how much water we have on the village level, on the town level, on the city level, and what system we can make a disciplined use of water. So if we not make a disciplined use of water and we not develop a skill of the efficient use of water, so we can't survive. The only way we can start, and the only way if we are really bother about our common future and coming third world water war. So we can stop only way if we can start with the water literacy movement. I can say in Rajasthan, the people is already migrated to the cities, and when they realize and when they internalize about the water and they make the water today, they have the water. They are every village we have the water where we are working. And you know the lowest rains in region, but we have water. So I suggest one thing, if really we are bothered about the common future, so we can start making the drought-free India through the water literacy. We develop the respect about the water, and we start the reduced use of water and retreat and recycle and reuse, and finally we can decide and we give the message to this country, only way the rejuvenate this country by water. Without water, this natural resource, rivers, nowhere we can start the rejuvenation. Today we not need the development, we need the rejuvenation of our natural resource, our water, our forest, our earth. If we start the rejuvenation, so we can make a really plenty of water in my country. I'm share my experience of Rajasthan, where the community doing, so the belongingness and ownership come, and they really understand, yes, we have the less water, so we can grow this year where the no water intensive crop. So the people already make the linking with the crop pattern and rain pattern. So now the need, the government can learn from the community, the government can learn from the civil society, but the government engineers not give the liberty to the people. When I start this water conservation work, my irrigation engineers file the case against me and they create a fear in my head, but I am not feared. So the people is feared from the government. If the government is not allowing to the people and to the civil society, civil society not come forward.
No, absolutely.
So today the government make a real act, not only policy. The policy is just the intention of the government.
Correct.
We need a real act for the water security and the right on water. So if we can ensure the two things for the water security, the community of India have the right on water.
Yes.
Not only the company, not only the irrigation department.
Mr. Singh, I do agree with you. I think perhaps it is time for a water act. But I think even here you're being slightly optimistic. We have so many laws in this country and so many acts, the government, that also fail to fix things in other, walks of our life. The important part will be for the bureaucracy to be shaken up, for the bureaucracy to be, made accountable and made responsible. So that, like you said, when the officials and the babus are made accountable, then people will also stand up to them and ask, and demand what is their right. Now, take a look at what the major river systems in our country is. There is Indus River, Brahmaputra, Ganga, Yamuna, Narmada, Tapi, further down south, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Mahanadi. We have at least 11 major river systems in our country. Here is the ground reality. Only 15 to 20% groundwater recharge is done in the Indo-Gangetic plains. Only 5 to 10% groundwater recharge is done in Peninsular India. There is absolutely no plan to even tap into the rivers when they have water. When the snow melts, the water comes and goes, and that's about it. I mean, I don't know scientifically whether the government is even seeking out help of the experts on this or not. Let me go across to a viewer calling us from Bengaluru. Shalini is on the phone line. Shalini, your government is definitely worried about the situation and praying to the gods that monsoons arrive soon.
Yes, actually our minister here, water resources, he has been firefighting for the Congress. If he had to do this river work or the water management, he should have done it long back, not then blame the delay in monsoon. Now why even God helps those who help themselves. So we can't pray to God now. And it looks very silly when everybody prays for water. They should take care of our water resources. They should make a plan, and they should see that people don't suffer. I think it's our water resources minister from Karnataka. If he had spent 1/4 of the time instead of firefighting for Congress, we would have been in a much happier position.
Absolutely. Shalini, thank you so much for calling us. And of course, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar spent several months campaigning for Congress, then was in Australia for a while. Now he's come back and he's ordered the department to actually pray to the rain gods. I don't know if there is a policy that the JDS is looking at. By the way, just to let our viewers know, the JDS was invited on this debate, and so was the Congress, but the Congress, as you know, has decided to not participate in any conversations for the next 1 month. The JDS too has chosen to not speak at least for a week until they get their own policy together. So we did attempt to make the government and the netas accountable in Karnataka. They don't want to talk to us right now. Now, there have been reports that have emerged that the drought in Karnataka is so severe that it's also obviously impacting the naval base over there. And there have been multiple reports that have emerged. So we thought for clarification and understanding, we'll speak to the naval spokesperson. Captain D.K. Sharma, PRO for the Navy, is on the phone line with me. Captain, there have been some reports. Can you tell us exactly what's the situation for the Karwar base?
Yeah, good evening, Tanvi. We are also facing the same crisis in the area. And as you know, the whole Dharwad area is under this drought conditions. And we are rationing the water. We are also sharing the crunch, which is being shared by all our citizens, all our brothers and sisters of the country. But what the report says that we are moving the ships out of Karwar, that's all hogwash. That is not correct. We are there. We are rationing our water supply to the base. And we have our reservoirs which are providing water to the ships, and there was also a report that one tanker came from Bombay, but that was a special kind of water.
Okay.
This water that water is required for the boilers of our strategic assets, which are there, and which has got very less salinity. Otherwise, if you see that the salt water or the sea water has got a salinity of 500 ppm, parts per million. And what we get drinking water, potable water, is around 30 ppm to 120 ppm. But what we use in our ships for the power generation or the propulsion, that is something which is 1 to 1.5 ppm. So that was the kind of water which was brought from Bombay. So it has nothing to do with the potable water and things like that. We are sharing the crunch, and as we have told that it is. But today morning also, fortunately, there was some rain, and we are just waiting for the rains to come, and it should be sorted out.
All right, Captain Sharma, thank you so much for speaking with us and clarifying on that. So yes, there was water that was sent from Mumbai, but that was for operational uses for the base in naval base in Karnataka. No plans of shifting out because of the dire conditions, says the Navy to us. Thank you for speaking with us. Well, completely out of time, so I'm going to thank all of our panelists, but here is our promise to our panelists and to our viewers that we're not going to stop this conversation here. We will continue to bring in the reports. We will continue to track what the various state governments and the central government is doing to deal with this situation. It has to be a true two-pronged strategy, something immediate, to ensure that people don't have to wait for days together to even get the basic drinking water. We have to understand the urgency, and the governments can't raise their hands and say, oh, what can we do? There is no water. Let's pray to the rain gods. Leave the praying to the Aam Aadmi, to the common man, to have the belief that things will improve. But you, as part of the government, you need to sit together, get into a huddle and figure out what solutions you can offer and how you can bring water to your citizens. That is what the government's job is. Otherwise, we wouldn't need a government. We could all sit and pray to our gods for peace, prosperity, and everything else that is required in our lives. The second part has to be a long-term plan. And the new government that's just taken charge needs to make this a priority. Water resources, water conservation needs to be a priority in this country. Niti Aayog's own report says that by 2020, groundwater in 21 big cities of India will be over. No groundwater, no amount of borewell is going to help you, no amount of digging is going to help you. This is what the government panel is telling us. What's the plan? How are we going to provide water to these cities? And if the rains don't come and the lakes dry up, will we turn around and say we can't do anything? That's what the central government has to look into. Thank you for joining us on this debate. Before we wrap up, here is a story India must know. The controversial BJP Neta and now newly elected MP from Bhopal, Pragya Thakur, has hit the headlines again. She is an accused, as you all know, in the 2008 Malegaon blast case. She did not appear before the NIA Special Court in Mumbai today. There was a hearing in that Malegaon blast case for the second time this week. Despite instructions from the court, Pragya Thakur did not attend. Her lawyer told the court that she is unwell and she is being hospitalized and she would have to check with her doctors if she can appear before the court tomorrow. But here is the twist. On your screens are the visuals around the same time when the hearing was underway. Pragya Thakur was seen attending an event in her constituency. Not just that, in the very same event, she declared that she is perfectly fine.
अभी तक शिवराज जी की सरकार में सब कुछ अच्छा था, अब कहां गायब हो गया है? ये गलत है और इनको इस बात पे ध्यान देना चाहिए। जीवन उपयोगी आवश्यकताएं हैं, इनकी पूर्ति अवश्य होना ही चाहिए और इस सब के लिए हम सब योजना बना रहे हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के हम सब पदाधिकारी योजना बना रहे हैं और उनके समक्ष इन आवश्यकताओं को लेकर के, समाज की, भोपाल की आवश्यकताओं को लेकर के जाएंगे। आपका स्वास्थ्य भी कल जो है खराब गर्मी बहुत हो जाता है।
That was a response when the reporter inquired about her health. The big question is she going to skip the court hearing again to attend some event, or will she turn up at the Mumbai court tomorrow? We will keep a close eye. Thank you for joining us tonight.